Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is, I'm going to try to paint a picture of what the prophecies say are coming in the future. And I've got some new information to bring you that kind of fits in. So I was sent this letter from the Department of the Treasury, and it is addressed to the Honorable Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House. If you scroll down to the bottom, you will see the main thing I want to point to, but it's from Yellen, the head of the Federal Reserve. That might not be the correct title for it, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. So let me scroll down where I've highlighted the yellow points where we need to see. So this is a letter to Nancy Pelosi from this Janet Yellen, and she's warning them that unless they increase the debt limit, the dollar's about to crash. Says, given this uncertainty, the Treasury Department is not able to provide a specific estimate of how long the extraordinary measures will last. In other words, she's saying we've been taking extraordinary measures to keep the dollar afloat, and if you do not increase the debt ceiling, it's going to crash. However, based upon our best and most recent information, the most likely outcome is that, look carefully, that cash and extraordinary measures will be exhausted during the month of October. Now, it seems like we hear some kind of a big crash coming every October. We will continue to update Congress as more information becomes available. However, now this is the point I want to get to. We have learned from past debt limit impasses that waiting until the last minute to suspend or increase the debt limit can cause serious harm to business and consumer confidence. So they're saying the dollar's about to crash unless they increase the debt limit. Oh, no worry, they're going to increase the debt limit as they do every year. Well, that's not what this guy says. The article comes to us from Newsmax, and it says, Cruz to filibuster any dim bid to raise the debt limit, and he is absolutely adamant, saying he is not going to allow them to increase the debt limit. Now, what picture do these prophecies paint? So, first of all, let's go to something I haven't read in a long time. Comes from my good friend, Prophet Maurice Sklar, back when he made a DVD for Prophecy Club, Revelations for the Midnight Hour. He says he saw the American dollar is about to lose 30% more of its present value. This will be the second drop since the previous 2008 drop of 20%. The dollar will then be worth half what it was before September 2008. This drop will cause great economic distress on our nation. The church will be shaken. I was having a conversation with a lady this morning. She says, well, do you believe in pre-trib? And I said, no, I don't. And I said, I've written a book on it, How Pre-Trib Won, explaining about the pre-trib and everything. She was thinking about having me on. They are going to have me on, but we're not going to talk about that. I said, the problem is the church in general is not going to accept that there's not going to be a pre-trib rapture to come and save them, so they don't have to go through any trouble, and they're not going to believe that until the trouble arrives, and that's what this prophecy is saying. The church will be shaken, and many will wake up spiritually and cry out to me. There will also be looting, rioting, and terrorism in our land. Yes, we've seen that. Now, here's the point. Many will lose their money overnight, as the stage is set for the financial takeover of the Antichrist system. I believe the Antichrist system is the QFS, or the quantum financial system, when they do away with the SWIFT system, which is what we're in the progress of doing right now, that is doing away with coins and paper money for all 196 nations around the globe. And they're going to a digital system, so say the prophets, and it's going to be the quantum financial system. The great revival also begin. God has hidden his holy apostles and prophets for this present hour. There will be great outpourings of supernatural provision, miracles, and healings in various places. These areas will become cities. How many times do we have to hear that? Cities of refuge. It didn't say places of refuge in the mountains. It didn't say places of refuge out in the forest someplace. Cities become refuge. Places of refuge for God's people. Now let's jump to Shane Warren. You've heard part of this. He said this isn't natural. It's raining dollar bills, and the anchor, and this correspondent went back and forth about the meaning of these dollar bills. He said, I don't understand. It's almost like they're worthless. They're worthless. It's raining worthless dollars. I saw a vision of a meeting in the Middle East. Now we jump to the next thing. I saw China, India, Syria, Indonesia, Turkey, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Russia, and Egypt sitting around a table discussing how to destroy America. A nation stood up and said the American dollar has no stability. All we have to do is stop using the U.S. dollar. Stop selling oil in dollars. I'll say it again. Stop selling oil in dollars and trade in another currency, and the dollar will collapse, but they cannot agree on which currencies. They finally agreed to sell it for gold. Then he saw that the devaluing of the dollar caused major rioting in the streets with signs saying, I want my entitlements. Give us our entitlements. Then we go to Daniel Davis. He made a DVD for us back in 2012 called I Saw the Dollar Dead, which, by the way, you can order it at prophecyclub.com, or you can watch it instantly, as in right now, in the next 5 minutes, by going to watchprophecyclub.com. I Saw the Dollar Dead. A government official made an announcement saying, ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement to make. America, as you have known it, has ceased to exist. All property lines have been dissolved, and the U.S. dollar is worthless. Then he skips to another scene. He said, I was at the gas station. I saw a father jump out of the SUV and come over to a man and say, I need a full tank of gas. He pulled out his billfold, offered some dollars. The store manager said, I don't take dollars. Okay, so try to imagine a time when no one takes your dollars. Well, what do you take? The father and the manager walked over to the trailer and started looking through it. It was clear that the man was going to take anything from the trailer he wanted to give the man a tank of gas. So we're talking about death of the dollar. Then, in the DVD, Will You Survive America's Fall, also available at watchprophecyclub.com, by Doug Metzger, he said, I woke up startled with a horrifying prospect. In the dream, I was calculating the inflation rate of the dollar. It was 10 to 1 plus a little. The meaning was as if something cost $1 today, the next day was $10.50. The money, as you know it, became worthless. How long? Quickly. The dollar became worthless. Doug Metzger. Now, what's causing it? Well, we didn't know exactly how the dollar was going to die other than they stopped selling oil in dollars. August 24th, HalTurnerRadioShow.com, headline, The Black Swan Event has taken place, destruction imminent. He says, on Tuesday, August 24th, Saudi Arabia Russian official announced an agreement that is saying that the Russians are now going to be protecting Saudi Arabia because back in 1971, they made a deal. The U.S. military would protect Saudi Arabia. In exchange, Saudi Arabia would require all Saudi Arabian oil sales to be dollar denominated. That made the dollar very strong. But now, as of August 24th, they're saying they no longer do that because now the Russians are protecting them. So they're not requiring the oil to be sold in dollars anymore. What does that mean? He goes on to say exactly what that means. Conversely, if countries sell oil, they have to receive dollars for sale. This system has for decades literally caused every country in the world to have to hold dollars in their currency reserves. But now that Saudi Arabia has signed this defense pact with Russia, look at this carefully. Saudis no longer need to sell oil in dollars. There it is, being fulfilled, and there it is, being prophesied. This was back in 2010, so here it is 11 years later, and there it is happening. What does that mean? That means that the dollar is about to die. That means the dollar is going to start falling like a rock. Make preparations as you deem necessary. Which means countries all over the world won't need to hold dollars. Trillions of the dollars about to start coming home. It will be a literal tidal wave of cash coming back to America. No one will need dollars anymore. Hyperinflation? No. Mega uber hyperinflation. Everyone around the world will want out of U.S. dollars. The value of our currency is about to become plummeting. Saudi Arabia, in one move, smashed our currency into what will quickly become a death spiral. As more countries cash out, the rest of the planet will start seeing the value of the dollar falling, and it will be a tsunami of dollars. Put simply, Everything denominated in dollars is going to quickly become utterly worthless. Now, that's the first fulfillment, but there's more. Now, let me tell you where we're going with this. The dollar is now in a death spiral as of August 21st. Now, there's another article, and I have searched diligently. I can't find my article, but I remember reading it before. But it said basically the COVID checks, the ones that have gone out here just over the last 18 months, are stopped as of September the 1st. Some 12 million Americans have been cut off, but it gets worse. Let's back up and look what they're saying here. You remember this article? This article says basically that there's going to cause serious harm to business consumer confidence if they don't raise the debt ceiling. And Ted Cruz says, over my dead body, you're not going to raise the debt ceiling. Okay, so what does that mean? That means the dollar, in addition to no longer being the reserve currency, in addition to no longer being required by the other nations out there in order to buy and sell crude oil, it's about to be worthless. If we default on our loan, the dollar will be worthless almost overnight, say several experts. Okay, so now let's go back to the prophecies. What does that mean? Okay, so the dollar had become worthless. I have 9 different dreams. I read them on programs last week. 9 different dreams. Bible says in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. When we have 9 different dreams, and they're all saying that there's about to be a food shortage, I have 13 different sources that saying we're looking at suitcase nukes. Wow. Now, let's go on. According to the 2-cow prophecy, and you got to know what I'm talking about there. According to that prophecy, if it's a prophecy, and I believe it is, the 7 years of famine started September the 6th, which is the Feast of Trumpets. Terry Bennett said that the angel Gabriel told him when the checks from our government stop coming to the people, the chaos will ensue. All right, that means that as of August 24th, Saudi Arabia is no longer being protected by America, so now the dollar can be, the oil can be sold by anything. Doesn't have to be dollars. September 1, 12 million Americans have, not going to be, have already been cut off from some of the checks. But if we don't raise that debt ceiling, the dollar is about to be basically worthless. And that's supposed to happen in October. Now, maybe it stretches out into September, and maybe it's a month or 2 before it really hits. But several people have seen in visions and dreams that the dollar crashes, not slowly, but almost overnight. Now, let me just throw in here. If you need long-term storage food, we're going to send you to heavensharvest.com. Promo code is STAN. Yes, it helps your prophecy club. If you need some kind of an EMP protection device for your computer chips in your house and your car, then we'll send you to EMPShield.com. Promo code is prophecy. And if you need some kind of gold or silver precious metals, we'll send you to cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Silver might save your car. It might help you to make your house payments. You're going to be able to convert that to whatever, as in Shane was told, that silver will skyrocket. We're not making any financial advice here or any guarantees. We're talking prophecy here, okay? Now let's go to today's information. This is actually dated the 12th, September 12th. Headline, grocery prices to rise another 3% before the end of the year. Kroger warns with cost of beef already up 14% and pork 12% just since December. This comes to us from Daily Mail, which I don't recommend. A lot of skin. I'll say it that way. A lot of skin. It's like, ugh, I don't want to go to that website. DailyMail.com says, grocery prices are headed higher later this year, according to Kroger, which is the largest supermarket by sales in the United States. While inflation is running hot, management is anticipating prices of its groceries to rise 2%, then to 3% over the second half of this year. Now, that's what they're expecting. That's what they know is coming. But what they don't know is the value of the dollar is about to fall because there's no longer a need for dollars around the world. What they don't know is they're probably not going to approve the debt rise in the debt ceiling for America, and that will default the dollar. That will make the dollar worthless almost overnight. So let's go on. So they don't understand what you and I understand. Within the Consumer Price Index, the component for food at home has risen 5 months in a row and is up 2.6% for the year. Now, you can go ahead and read the whole article. I'm not going to read a whole article. I'm going to get to the summarized version. I like this they put on their website. Inflation from July 2020 to July 2021. As you're looking at it, it says bacon up 11%, beef 8%, lettuce 5%, fish 7%, milk 8%, airfare 19% up, gasoline 42% up, dresses 19. Well, that's really a problem for dresses to go up. Well, it is. We've got to cover the ladies. Dresses 19%, hotels 24%, used cars 42%. My son-in-law sells cars. He just changed companies. I won't mention the name because they can't get cars. Many of the American car dealers can't get cars because guess what? They can't get chips for the cars. Why? Because they can't get them from, well, we won't mention the nation, but other nations overseas. Used cars up 42%, new cars 6%, public transportation up 14%, and there's more. Next headline, House Democrats eye a 26.5% corporate tax rate increase. This comes to us from The Hill, 9/12/2020. House Democrats are looking to raise the corporate rate to 26.5% as a way to help pay for their $3.5 trillion social spending plan. Now, what's the problem with that? Okay, so I got a question for you. This $3.5 trillion they're going to borrow, where do you think they're going to borrow that from? They're going to borrow that from the Moloch and Baal worshippers that have their own printing press. These days, they don't even need a printing press. They just enter digits into a computer. They have all the money in the world that control the SWIFT system, have for 3,000 years, well, 300 years we know of, probably controlled the whole planet since before the days of the pyramids, truth be known. So if we borrow it from the Moloch and Baal worshippers, what does that mean? You see, the way they get control of things, the lender is subject to the borrower, right? No. The borrower is subject to the lender. So if we borrow money, that means the people that is lending us money then can control us and tell us what to do. So the Democrats want to have a 3.5, they want us to borrow all of this money. They want us to borrow the money. Why? Because then that puts us in debt and they can tell us what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. That's the real hint behind this. It says a 26.5% rate would be higher than the current 21%. Well, wait a minute. 21%? 21%. As I recall, the Tea Party back in the pioneer days, which caused the American Revolution, was over a 10% tax rate that they didn't want to pay on the tea. But today we're talking about 26%. Why are we doing that? Because the objective is not to help our country. Their objective is to destroy America. Well, why do they want to destroy America? Because we are a Christian nation. This is the Moloch and Baal worshippers. These are the people that believe worshiping their God is killing humans, eating them, drinking their blood or their blood products, having drug trafficking, human trafficking, sex with children. It is the most evil of the evil of the evil. That's what they do. That's how they please their God. You and I please our God exactly the opposite. Jesus is the only one that is holy. And so that Lucifer and his Moloch and Baal worshippers are exactly the opposite. That's the reason when Moses came down off of the mountain with the 10 Commandments, he saw them worshiping the golden calf, which is Moloch and Baal worship. What did he do? He got angry. He broke the 10 Commandments. But then, what did he have happen? He told the people that were for Moses to get their sword and to go into the tents and to slay all of the people that had worshipped the golden calf, which is the Moloch and the Baal worshippers. Why? Because these people are so evil and corrupt. Putting them in prison, that wouldn't do anything. There's only one solution. I mean, just like, for example, when Samson, he went to the pillars of the temple, and that's the prophets of Dagon, or extreme evil, And what did he do? He pulled down the temple, the pillars, and what happened to him? And in the case of Gideon, okay, so Gideon got his 300 people, and he blew trumpets. They shouted, "Sword of the Lord sword of the Lord and of Gideon," and they broke the pots or the pitchers. So they all looked up. It looks like there were thousands of people in the surrounding them. So consequently, they all started fighting each other. God made them fight each other, and it said there was so many people there, the Midianites, that they were like grasshoppers all along the side. And what happened to them? They all died. All right, and then the case of Gideon, they all died. What about Elijah? So Elijah had a big preach-off. He says, tell you what, he called all of the Baal worshipers and also all of the prophets of the groves, which are, again, the most evil of the evil of the evil. These are the people that put their gifts under a tree, decorated the tree, and they poured out drink offerings and offered incense offerings to their god of the tree. Sound like Christmas? That's exactly what it is. It's patterned, or Christmas is patterned after the prophets of the groves. So Elijah had a preach-off. Says, tell you what, you guys aren't sure who God is. Here's what let's do. Let's have a contest. You offer your sacrifice, I'll offer my sacrifice, and the God that answers by fire, let him be God. They said, deal, good deal. So, of course, the Baal worshipers set up their, and also the prophets of the groves, they set up their sacrifice. They couldn't get any answer. So they started dancing, and then they were cutting themselves. The blood was coming out because they're trying to get their God to answer. Well, about the time of the evening sacrifice, Elijah decides he would then, he put up the altar again, and then he put the bull on there, sacrificed it, had him pour water on it, pour water again, and the fire came down. It not only burned up the sacrifice, it burned up all of the altar, the stones, the water, everything. So what then did Elijah say? He said, I want you to take the prophets of Baal and the prophets of the groves, and they took him down to the brook Kidron, and what did they do to him? Slew every one of them. Because these people won't get saved. The only option is to remove them. So what they're trying to do is enslave us. If we can get us to borrow $3.5 trillion from them, which they simply enter digits into the computer, or if they did have a printing press, they would simply run the printing press. So to them, it's nothing. They have ultimate money. But it allows them to enslave us, and then they can charge interest, and they can tell us what we're going to do. So it enslaves a nation. And here's one more thing I want to say. I don't think JB is stupid. I do think he's old. I think he's senile. But I don't think he's in charge. And I don't think the whole Afghanistan thing was stupid. I think it is well planned out. And I think these people are doing exactly what they intend to do. For people that don't understand them, their objective is to kill the Christian nation, then kill the Christians. Why? Because they want to put their man, the beast, upon the throne of God, which is called the Ark of the Covenant. They want him to sit there and say, I am God. Then he's going to require all people it requires them to stop animal sacrifice and all people to take the mark of the beast, the ones that haven't already got it. And I may as well say something else about that since I'm kind of on my soapbox today. I do not think that the vaccine, I'm going to say the word, that the vaccine is the mark of the beast. I do not think it is. I do think that the objective of the V is to get us to wear the mask. The mask's objective is to teach us that we have to do as we're told, and it's also to get us tired of wearing the mask, so they can say, well, if you don't want to wear the mask, you got to take the anti-V. And I'm not, like some kind of expert in the medical field, which is one of the reasons I haven't talked much about the anti-V or the V or that whole subject, because that's not my area of expertise. But what I do think is I think that evil is behind it. I do think that the V was man-made in a laboratory. I think it was released not by accident, but on purpose, with many objectives behind it. But the primary objective is to get us to put the mask on. The primary objective of the mask is if you want to take the mask off, you got to get the anti-V. Now, what's wrong with the anti-V? Well, I've got all kinds of emails, all kinds of videos sent to me. Oh, it's magnetic. Here's all these bad things it can do. Well, what is the objective of the Moloch and Baal worshippers? What do they believe in? They believe in seeing Christians and Christian countries grow and prosper and be in health? No. Their objective is to kill us. That's how they worship their God. So what do you think the anti-V is going to do? Directly or indirectly, or this one or another one down the road, the objective is to kill us. They want to kill. They hate us. They hate Christians. They hate our God. And their objective is to kill as many of them as possible, which is where abortion comes in. Whether it's by the V or the anti-V, they want to kill people. Now, I will also say this. I called Lindsey Williams. He gave me permission to say this. And this is 6-9 months ago. I said, Lindsey, tell me, what do you think about the V? We use the words, of course. He said, now, you know, Stan, that my very top sources died several years ago. And then my middle line sources have either dried up or died. He said, the only thing I have now is through a friend of a friend. He said, but I'll tell you what they said. He said, these people said that the V was created, on purpose released. And he said, and the anti-V, the purpose of it is to kill our immune system. Now, let me just give you a disclaimer. I cannot prove what I'm saying. It's rumor. If you don't want to believe it, that's fine by me. But I've found Lindsey and his sources to be credible. He said the objective, though, is to kill our immune system in a certain way, so that 2 or 3 years down the road, they release another V, and that V will spread through humanity, and everybody that got the anti-V, quickly, gone, quickly, almost like they have no immune system. Now, I don't know that that's true, but let's go back to what the Moloch and Baal worshippers believe. They believe in killing God's creation. The objective is to kill Christians, period. If they're in the womb, fine. If they're out of the womb, fine. They just want to kill them. So do we want to go and borrow $3.5 trillion from people that want to kill us? See, what happened in Afghanistan, this was not a mistake. This is not bad judgment. This is part of destroying our nation, destroying our will to fight, ruining our reputation. So I told Leslie last night, I said, if something big doesn't happen, these massive arrests, if they don't really start taking place, doesn't look like we have too long. The fall of America will start with an internal revolution. An internal revolution. Well, that would be tanks rolling down Pennsylvania Avenue and taking over. Start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. What happened? Well, probably started by the communists because the good guy really got elected, but the evil guy and his buddies cheated him out of the election, forcing some kind of an internal revolution or a military takeover of America. Started by the communists, some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems, probably blowing up bridges, blowing up electrical, suitcase nukes, viruses released. I mean, this is what Coverstone was shown. All kinds of problems. Now, I'd like to point out the good in this, and the good is, just like I said to the lady this morning, people are not going to receive that there's not going to be a rapture, not until great trouble hits them. They're going to have to reach the point to where, wait a minute, if there is a rapture, it should have already taken place. There's got to be something that is going to shake the church, but I have so many prophecies saying there's a shaking coming not only to America, but also to the church, because that's the only way the church is going to wake up. But not to worry, God has our number. God knows exactly what it's going to take for all of those people whose names are in the book of life but have refused to receive Jesus. He knows exactly what it's going to take to get them to receive Jesus. Exactly. Order School of the Watchman package. You get 2-foot by 3-foot full color updated prophecy charts, my personal handwritten spiral ring notebook of the book of Revelation, 5 DVDs of the School of the Watchman, all valued at $325 for a gift of $200 at prophecyclub.com. School of the Watchman package, 2-foot by 3-foot full color updated prophecy charts, my personal handwritten book of Revelation, the 5 DVDs of the School of the Watchman, valued at $325 for a gift of $200 at prophecyclub.com. Pastors inviting me in to teach the School of the Watchman get the package free. 785-266-1112 for share and subscribe.